has broken the access code to this game. A game in which your destiny depends
No, I
upon
gotta
your own
try.
decisions, and where the ultimate weapon is your mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please take
Body
your
and
seats at
soul.
this time as the program will begin momentarily.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm Gen X Dave, and this is Gen X and Beyond, and my co-host Smoking for 20, Moking the Bull. Smoking's got some
Yes.
things from Trump's cabinet roundtable meeting, couple clips, couple 3-minute clips, and then I got a very special Dale's report for you that I came across 2 days
And
ago.
also, I want to point something out in these in the two clips that I got.
Yeah,
You know, just a little thing that goes a long way. I think.
right?
All right.
Okay.
So we're gonna start with I believe this is Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, right?
Okay.
So we're gonna play this real quick. Play.
I know you will not be arrested by the U.S. Marshal. Over 200
Can you turn that up?
junctions.
Okay, hold on.
Sending every one of you in this room.
You said turn it up.
Yeah, down at the speaker. It's up all the way.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's so hard to hear, but okay, go ahead, play it.
I know you will not be arrested by the U.S. Marshal. Over 200 lawsuits, over 50 injunctions, and now we've got multiple cases in front of the Supreme Court, and we will succeed, and we are doing great in front of the Supreme Court, President, and we'll continue on with that. I was at DEA yesterday, and they said to me, you, Donald Trump, have taken the handcuffs off of DEA agents. And as a result of, since you have been in office, President Trump, your DOJ agency has seized more than 22 million fentanyl pills, 3,400 kilos of
Hold on.
fentanyl. Since you've been your
Pause
last
it.
one, which say, be ready for this, media, 200.
Since Trump's been in office, 100 days, a little over 100
100
days.
days. No, it's been okay. Today would have been 101 days.
Okay, 101 days and took that much fentanyl off the streets. The Biden administration put 15 times that amount on the streets. Go ahead, play.
Yeah. Yep.
58 million lives. Kids are dying every day
Wait.
because they're taking this junk. We had 258 million lives. Kids are dying every day because they're taking this junk laced with something else. They don't know what they're taking. They think they're buying a Tylenol or an Adderall and a Xanax, and it's laced with fentanyl, and they're dropping dead. And no longer because of you, what you've done. ATF, since you've been in office, President, along with DOJ agencies, seized 14,500 guns off the streets. Why aren't people reporting that? 651,000 rounds of ammo. That's up 151% from 2020.
And I thought we had an ammo shortage.
Well, there's where it went. Now we got it back.
America safe. We've rescinded death penalty. We are now seeking the death penalty.
Oh yeah.
Signing death warrants. We are going after terrorism. We are going after arsonists.
Good.
Whether you're burning Teslas, we've arrested 9 people so far in 7 jurisdictions. No negotiations, 20 years in prison, or you're burning down the governor's mansion in Pennsylvania. We will be there to protect you. And I've been talking to Governor Shapiro, and he greatly appreciated you reaching out as well. ISIS terrorist, we got one in New York, right around the corner. We got an ISIS terrorist in New York. We have an October 7th task force. We just broke up a huge human trafficking ring by the Sinaloa cartel. 1,000 pounds of meth. Methamphetamine on our streets.
Pause that.
20,000.
Go back about 3-4 seconds. Right there. Play it.
We got an ISIS terrorist in New York. We have an October 7th task force. We just broke up a huge human trafficking ring by the Sinaloa cartel. 1,000 pounds of meth.
Ooh, 1,000 pounds of meth. 1,000 pounds of meth. Does anybody know the street value to that? Like, comment, and subscribe. Look us up, Gen X and beyond. Let us know what you think. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Help out the algorithm. It does us a lot of justice. And if you want, I'm doing this right now while we got this on pause. I'm going to put up the email you can reach out to us at. That way, if you want to be a guest on the show or have some other topic ideas you want to talk about, you can. It's not always about politics. We talk about everything. So there you guys go. And if you guys want to help out, you know, with the help out with the show, you guys can. QR codes on the screen. Go ahead and click on that, and it'll direct you exactly. If you got Cash App, more other avenues to donate money to help out will be brought up later on down the road in the future.
Methamphetamine on our streets. Ton of fentanyl. 20,000 Molly pills. Those are the drug of choice.
20,000 Molly pills.
Well, you think Molly is going for what, 20, 25 a pill right now? So if you take, here, I got my phone right here. Let's see what that is. See how much that is. Boom, calculator. So 20,000, right?
Yep.
And you're gonna times that by $25. That's $500,000 in Molly. They pulled off the streets. That's $500,000. Holy shit!
But remember, they could be higher.
In some places, yes, it could be 50, $60 a pill, but as a bottom dollar is $500,000.
What they had in them, fentanyl.
And they were laced with fentanyl.
So they were definitely fucking $25 a pill then, because they're not going to raise the price up on something that's laced with fentanyl.
1,000 lives saved because of you, right there. We brought back 29 cartel members from Mexico in your direction, and one killed the Kiki Camareno, a DEA agent, in 1985. And many of us got to talk to his widow and his son, who is now a judge. And they started crying. They have tried to get that guy back forever. And thanks to so many of you in this room working together, they have justice. They were crying on the phone because of what you did, President Trump. Thank you. We're going after anti-Semitism. We're unleashing everything you told us. No more DEI, no more weaponization. We have rescinded, as I said, 200 policies. And I could go on all day long, but we are doing everything in our power to keep America safe at your direction. Thank you, President.
Now, go ahead and take that down and let's talk about that a little bit. All these fucking drugs that he's pulled off the streets, he's bringing back criminals that have not been able to stand justice for so many years because they've been in other countries and fled to other countries. He's now bringing them back and getting them back here and making them stand trial for the crimes they committed. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people want to sit there and say they hate Trump, but behind closed doors, deep down inside, you know he's right for the country. And if you don't, then that's your own opinion. And I applaud you. I applaud you for your own opinion. I also congratulate you on having your own reasons. I don't hate you for it. It's just that I see things different than you do, and it doesn't make me any dumber or smarter than you. So, moving on. What's next, bud?
The person after this
Pam Bondi?
is the person after Pam Bondi.
That's what I'm talking about.
So that's who this is.
Okay.
I think what you've heard amongst this team is the leadership, because it's given given us the latitude really to collaborate amongst each other. Not only in this room, as Jameson mentioned, we kind of get a break for a couple of hours here, but we stay in contact actually every other day that we're working for you. And I think what that says is I was speaking to, for instance, the Farm Bureau of Texas yesterday. I'm not the ag secretary, but it matters to the workforce. I'm working with the other secretaries, Lutnick and McMahon, on education and the workforce investments that you've asked me to do. Because as you've come in and negotiated these great repatriation of these companies and the investments, we're going to need that workforce to build back this economy. And I couldn't see that more as I've kicked off my 50-state tour. We've been in 5 states so far. We'll finish all 50 states by the end of the year. And what we're talking to is the American workforce and these companies about what the market demand is. That's the difference, that we finally have made that connection. What do they need? How quickly do they need it? And how fast can I get these either apprenticeships toward that million that we've put that lofty goal? We've already added 80,000 new apprenticeships already just since January. So at the Department of Labor, that tour is kicked off, and I couldn't be more honored to be on the ground and see my colleagues that we're passing in the skies, but we're on the ground together because we're all collaborating together. One of the things that we're talking about, illegal immigration, I have put states on notice. I warned all 50 governors that if they continue to reward illegal immigration by treating unemployment benefits as a handout, they're going to lose their federal funding as well. We can no longer continue to give unemployment insurance to illegal immigrants. And so I've let those governors, and I sent out that letter last week. We also eliminated discriminatory DEI offices within the department, specifically the Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs. Most of our federal contracts were really just to focus on DEI enforcement. We were really punishing a lot of these companies. If they weren't complying, they weren't going to have a federal contract. We've let go of that program completely. $4.4 billion in unspent COVID funds came back to the Treasury from the CARES Act.
So pause that.
We'll invest in these coffers, in the state coffers. We've asked for that money back to.
Go back about 6-7 seconds. Okay, now play that again because I want to hear what she got back, what they got back from, the.
If they weren't complying, they weren't going to have a federal contract. We've let go of that program completely. $4.4 billion in unspent COVID funds came back to the Treasury.
Okay, hold on. Pause that. $4.4 billion back to the Treasury that was spent on shit that our country did not need. You know what our country needs? You want to know what our country needs? I'm going to tell you what our country needs. Legalization and the descheduling of marijuana. First and foremost. You know how many jobs that will open?
Not only will it open jobs, it'll open opportunities for
the long haul.
New people to come in and make different kinds of paper.
Right. Not only
different kind of clothing, different kind of rope.
Yes. But not only that. Think about the hemp resin 3D printed houses.
Them too.
That is damn near 100% fire retardant.
Yeah.
Which means you can't burn a motherfucker down. It's going to take a volcano, to burn that bitch down. And that's what a lot of these government officials, I get it. Republicans, I get it. Okay. I get what your whole stance is. You guys think marijuana is the gateway to all drugs, and it's not the gateway to all drugs. You know what the gateway to all drugs is? Pharmaceuticals. You want to know the truth? Yep. It's pharmaceuticals, man. It's painkillers. It's opioids. It's always been that way. When you were sitting there wondering back in the 70s and 80s why people were killing themselves and why they were so depressed and stressed out, it's because they had something medically happen to them. Broken arm, broken back, broken neck, whatever it may be, cancer surgery, whatever it may be. They got on these pills and they couldn't get off. And once they were cut off because their prescription ran out, they were fiending so bad because the opioid was stronger back then than it was in the 90s and the early 2000s.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a good painkiller, but I'm not addicted to it. I'd rather smoke weed.
And it does do some good work.
Right. But
it's not worth taking the pill to have the small amount that it does help for the large amount of damage it does to your body.
It's just, I don't know. It just is what it is. But $4.4 billion back to the Treasury is a big, good start. I know there's more money than that got sent back to the Treasury in the last 100 days, 101 days, 102 days, whatever it is. But moving on.
Billions were collected thus in these coffers, in the state coffers. We've asked for that money back to return to the Department of Treasury. We saved $250 million by canceling America Last, is what I call it, foreign handouts, including funding for things like transparency and accountability for the Uzbekistan cotton industry. It doesn't make sense that we're funding
$250 billion back from America Last from going overseas, paying for textiles that we could grow and harvest and make here.
Yeah.
What?
Why?
You're asking the wrong motherfucker, dude.
These foreign thank you to Doge and to the government efficiency, what we have found with the fraud that we're seeing.
I mean, some of these things are so ridiculous, you can't believe it.
No, I write them down and I read them more than once. So I just
Look at him smile.
and so again, with the executive order preparing Americans for high-paying skilled trade.
Well, he's kind of smiling at Elon too, because I mean, whenever he got to Elon, I kind of smiled and chuckled too, because he has,
I mean, come on, man.
Caps on,
Come on, man. I mean,
That's our goal. The trades is where we're being focused, but all companies, and we want to make sure we're on hand for that. And what I want to say is thank you.
They really don't have the mic set up for the other people. They just have it set up for fucking Trump, and that pisses me off.
Yeah, they need a better table microphone.
Well, not only that, but whatever. You could take this down now.
Well, no, because I got to make it to the end to prove my point.
Will our departments and our agencies continue that government efficiency? And I think that we surpassed that in the Department of Labor. Out of our 14,000 federal employees, 3,000 have taken the DRP, and we offered it again. So over 21% have taken that offer. And we'll keep our critical workforce, MSHA, OSHA, and wage and hour, and make sure our workers stay safe. So with your leadership, Mr. President, I couldn't be more honored to serve. I know we were probably the last to know each other, but we're getting to know each other well. And the team that you have assembled is really an honor to serve with. So thank you, Mr. President.
Great. Thank you very much.
All right. So they're at the end in both the videos.
Right.
He said, "Thank you. You're doing a great job."
Yeah, and there's nothing more you like to hear from your boss is, "Hey, you're doing a fucking great job."
How many bosses do that?
Well, considering that I've worked at this fucking company that I'm working for now for a little over a year, not once.
Thank you.
Not once.
You need to start stepping it up, people that own companies that want people to do their job. You need to treat them like, hey, tell them once in a while, you're doing a great job. If they're not doing a great job, point it out. Tell them, let them know.
And here's
Let
another
them know
thing
how
too.
to fix it. They ain't mind readers.
Right. Here's another thing about employers don't understand. They hire these rude ass dickhead bosses that strut around as foremen or supervisors and think they're better than everyone else. And instead of fucking actually sitting down and writing things out in crayon to help people learn the easiest, the most safest and productive way to do their job, instead of just yelling at them, you're not going to get much out of your employees. You're going to get a high turnover rate in your company. It's just a whole ball of mess, man. And you guys really need to learn to, and this goes out to every company across the United States, across the world. I can understand you guys doing drug and alcohol tests for certain jobs, but you really need to leave
things.
You really need to leave marijuana out. Because you want to know how many smart minds are out there who smoke weed that are really super fucking smart? I'm going to tell you one. He runs Doge. Okay? He runs Doge. He runs SpaceX. He owns Tesla. All right? Yes, he is a stoner. Okay? He's more of an edible guy than he is a smoker, but he is a stoner. Just you guys need to get out there and just fucking stop hating on the fucking pot smokers, because it's no different than from you clocking out at 5 o'clock and driving 2 blocks down from your job to the nearest bar and having a couple screwdrivers or a couple of fucking Mickey beers or a couple of Paps or Coors, whatever it is you drink. You know what I'm saying? So you guys really need to, ease up a little bit. But talking about marijuana, I got a report from the Dales Report that I want to show.
Oh,
And yeah, so we're going to get into that here in a second as soon as I make sure that this is the video. Yep, this is it. So I'm going to bring this up. This is the Dales Report. This is going to be about 5.5 minutes long. We're going to go through here. We're going to watch it. We're going to discuss it. We're going to find out what's going on and ask you people what you guys think. So here we go. Ready?
mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go.
Hey everyone, welcome into our latest Trade and Black podcast. I'm your host, Shad Dales, and today we're diving into some major development this week in the cannabis industry that grabbed everyone's attention. President Donald Trump is reportedly lobbying Congress to pass marijuana banking legislation. Hallelujah. Yes, whether you believe that or not, Trump is indeed pushing for the Secure and Fair Enforcement Regulation, otherwise known as the Safer Banking Act, to finally make its...
So they're making a bill to make banks take people's money, whether they have any ties to marijuana, period.
They are forcing, what this is going to be, it's called safe banking. And the safe banking bill, what it does is it releases regulations to allow banks that are backed by the FDCPA or the FDCI, whatever they're called. FDCI, right? Fair debt.
Yeah.
The federal
FDIC.
banking, FDIC. Okay. FDIC.
Federal Department of Banking or Distribution of Currency.
Yeah, whatever it is. Okay. Allow them to be able, so like if you Moken or if I wanted to open up a dispensary, we needed somewhere to deposit our cash and make sure payroll checks get paid out, this and that. This bill's going to allow that to happen now.
And banks can't close that account out and just take the money.
Right. Yeah. So, and the Safe Banking Act also protects people who want to bank at the banks of their choice, not get frowned upon because they're either a Republican or Democrat or independent, so it also, there's a lot into it. Okay. You ready?
way through Congress. And oh, what a game changer this would be. So let's unpack what this means for cannabis businesses, investors, and really the broader market. First, let's talk about the Safer Banking Act. Like I've mentioned in a few podcasts before, this legislation aims to give legal cannabis businesses access to the U.S. banking system. Right now, many of these businesses are forced to operate in cash because federal law prevents banks from working with them. Yes, there is some banking that's already taking place within the industry, but with this bill passing, this would open up the doors tremendously. Because of this creates security risks, limits growth, and makes it harder for these companies to scale. Versions of this bill and its predecessor, the Safe Banking Act, they've passed the House multiple times, but they've consistently stalled in the Senate, something we're very familiar with. But now, with President Trump reportedly lobbying Congress, there's renewed hope that this could finally change. According to news out of Washington, President Trump has been in discussions with lawmakers this week, urging them to move forward with the Safer Banking Act. This isn't entirely surprising, knowing that Trump has shown support for marijuana reform in the past. Back last fall in 2024, on his Truth Social post, he backed a Florida ballot initiative to legalize adult use marijuana, though ultimately it failed. He's also expressed interest in rescheduling marijuana to a Schedule III drug, which would open the door for more medical research and regulatory changes. With the 2026 midterms on the horizon, Trump's push could be a strategic move to appeal to voters who support cannabis reform. It's a smart idea. So now that we know all this, what needs to happen for this bill to pass? First, the Safer Banking Act must clear the Senate Banking Committee, where it's faced resistance in the past. Who comes to mind? Senator Tim Scott. In addition to him, key senators will need to be convinced that this legislation is not just about cannabis, but it's also...
Wait a minute. Why would Tim Scott be opposed to this? I like Tim Scott. Tim Scott's a hell of a guy, and he's very fucking smart. I just don't understand it, but whatever.
In addition to him, key senators will need to be convinced that this legislation is not just about cannabis, but it's also about public safety, economic growth, and fairness for state-authorized businesses. From there, it would need to pass a full Senate vote, which requires bipartisan support. This is where Trump's lobbying efforts could make a big difference, and I mean big. If he can sway Republican senators to back the bill, it has a much better chance of passing. Well, of course it does. Then from there, the bill would need to be reconciled with the House version before heading to the president's desk for signature. So now let's talk about what this could mean for the cannabis industry if the Safer Banking Act does indeed pass. Because as I said earlier, it would...
Before he gets into what they think, what it can mean for the marijuana industry, let me tell you what I will think. My thoughts are the fact that it's going to help reschedule. It's going to push it closer to the goal line. It's going to push it even further.
Closer to where it's not on there no more.
Exactly. Like where you were saying earlier, help create a whole new industry for clothing and rope and fucking materials. Like I was saying, hemp, resin, 3D printed houses, medicine, bro. Imagine, right? So that's my thoughts. It's going to push it closer to being rescheduled and make it more federal legal across the board, like cigarettes, alcohol.
Would be a game changer.
You can't say that those things are not drugs, because they are.
I was always told that the hardest drug out there to break habit from doing
Caffeine.
Cigarettes. Number one. Number two is caffeine. Number one, cigarettes. Number two, caffeine.
And you drink a lot of tea.
I drink a lot of sweet tea, but I make my own sweet tea. I don't buy it. I make it.
It still has caffeine.
It does have caffeine in it, but I digress. But caffeine, yeah, So there's nothing wrong with a strong black cup of coffee, bro. You don't need to put sugar in it. You don't need to put creamer in it. There's nothing wrong with tea as long as it's unsweetened, not sweetened like my beautiful tea. But all it is basically fucking goddamn flavored sugar water. But
big, beautiful tea.
Big, beautiful tea. Big glass. Anyway, we'll get back into this. But it's going to help. It's going to help.
I believe it will.
And I'm not talking about thousands of jobs.
For different reasons than what he's going to mention probably.
I'm just throwing this out there. we're talking about maybe closer to around 5 million new jobs. If that got rescheduled and all this goes through, 5 million.
And you know what? People like me that can't walk, maybe possibly can get a sit down job.
Trimming, or sitting at the joint station or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So,
Act does indeed pass because, as I said earlier, it would be a game changer. Multi-state operators like Ascend Wellness, CureLeave, Cresco Labs, Green Thumb Industries, TrueLeave, Air Wellness, Verado Holdings, MaryMed, and Jushi Holdings. These are companies that would finally have access to traditional banking services among many other companies. This would lower their operating costs, improve cash flow management, and make it easier to secure loans for expansion. Cannabis ETFs like Advisor Shares, Pure Cannabis ETF YOLO, and MSOS, along with Tim Seymour's from Seymour Asset Management and his ETF CNBS, they would all see a boost in investor confidence as it grows. Share prices across the sector could rally significantly, as we've already seen multi-state operators trading higher.
imagine the marijuana boom that would happen and make Bitcoin look like yesterday's news.
Right?
It would dwarf Bitcoin.
Oh,
It would go so high in stocks so fast, and it keep growing. And the reason for that is because we in America understand, as citizens, as normal everyday people, not politicians, not business owners, not hedge fund company owners, not stock market broker people, not, we're not them. We're not the doctors.
right.
We know as everyday people what we want. We also know what is good for America. It's not you, it's us. So it's not as in me, as in us. I'm talking about as in us, the American people,
As a collective, yeah.
as a collective. 5 million new jobs, businesses expanding, possibly expanding to 10 million new jobs. People who have went to school and studied botany and stuff like that to get into stuff like this, it's going to open the door for you guys. And I know most of you guys are probably already working in the industry in legal states, but imagine the boom. Imagine. Here we go.
On the news of Trump's lobbying efforts. We did see a sell-off towards the end of last week, but let's not face it, some of these companies are up over 30% at one point last week. So for cannabis investors, this is a pivotal moment. The passage of the Safer Banking Act would signal a shift in federal policy, potentially paving the way for broader reforms like legalization and rescheduling. It would also attract institutional investors who have been hesitant to enter the space due to regulatory uncertainty. So really, in short, this legislation could unlock billions of dollars in capital and drive long-term growth in the cannabis industry, something that many of us who have been following this industry have been here this long. So let's find out what's going to happen, and let's hope some momentum builds, because there you have it. It's the breakdown of Trump's push for marijuana banking legislation and what it could mean for the cannabis industry. The Safer Banking Act has the potential to transform how cannabis businesses operate and how investors approach this space. But as always, the need to reform, as we know, is never easy. So we'll keep a close eye on how Congress is progressing and bring you the latest updates that we're hearing. Hey, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your network. And let us know in the comments below, do you think the Safer Banking Act will finally pass? If so, why? That's it for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. And like I always say, until next time, stay open-minded, stay connected.
Wow, that's some great information.
And dude, honestly, I think that would you doing that ain't gonna help. You staying in one place will help.
That's bullshit. My camera's a piece of trash.
Well, you get what you pay for, right?
Actually, I got it for free. Thank you to my homeboy, Only the Lonely. I'm very appreciative. I think it's just the way I got it set up, the lighting. That's what's mainly the problem. I don't.
I
have
think
the
it's
screen
what he
right
said
yet.
in the chip dead in it. Anyway, I think that bill would unlock, like he said, billions of dollars in the economy. Like,
Not a
oh
trillion.
my God.
I mean, you got to think about it. Do we really,
A stronger rope available.
yeah, exactly. I mean, can we really fight it? I mean, can we really sit there and try to ignore this? No, we don't. We encourage it. We
can't know.
we gotta coddle it like a newborn baby and just pray that everything goes through. Can Tim Scott be persuaded? I do believe so. Can the other Republicans be persuaded? Only if they get certain things. I think it's going to be a very tight fit, a tight deal. And Trump's going to have to relax on a few things to be able to get it passed if that's what he's truly trying to do. I mean, that's just all speculation. So, it's still all up in the air, too.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know. It's
Hey, Morgan. Hey, Morgan.
What?
Hey, look, hold on. I'm going to show Luke something.
Yeah?
There's Lonely. He says hi. What's good? Where were you? You were close by and you didn't let me know? Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Damn. Yeah, we're still on it for another few minutes. No, not a problem, man. So the everybody who's watching could understand I'm on the phone because I didn't mute my mic. So, so right. So, but yeah, man, drive safe, dude. I just want to make sure you were still alive and kicking. Alrighty, brother me. Well, before you do that, make sure you jump in and do a podcast with us. All right, brother. Let me know when you get home. All right, later. That was former third wheel, second wheel, first wheel, whatever you want to call him. Only the lonely speak of the devil, and he shall call.
Damn good guy.
Yeah, damn good guy. But anyways, back to the marijuana, man. Come on, guys. Get on board with this. Next year is midterms. Let's vote it in. Let's tell the government.
Get rid of Pritzker.
Get rid of J.B. Pritzker and all the other demotards that are out there. Just vote them out. So, but yeah.
And trust in Trump.
Well, trust in the process. How about that? Let's trust in the process. I don't want to put too much trust in the president. Look,
Trump is trying to lobby the Republicans to just go for this.
I'm not saying he's not, but let me just say this. What if it's not people who's doing the lobbying, his lobbyists that are doing the lobbying in his name? You know what I'm saying? Because that man can be everywhere at once. You know what I'm saying? And does Trump truly? I mean, yes, he spoke about it. He talked about it on his Truth Social, but he hasn't really pushed the bar forward. You know what I'm saying?
He hasn't. And like I said,
why. And I understand.
Like I said, he could or like we've said before on the show, dude, that's probably the last thing on his mind.
Yeah,
Honestly, he
right.
has terrorists in the country.
Yeah,
He's trying to save.
yeah. He's trying to save us, and it doesn't help when you had an administration that had opened the borders. And I'm just going to say this: it wasn't the Hispanics, the Mexicans, the people that are south of the border. I'm not talking about the people that are south of Mexico. I'm talking about the people in Mexico. It's not them. Okay. It's the cartels, yes, but it's not the people. It was people from other countries. And people are sitting there calling everybody liars, saying it's not it. They're all come from Mexico. No, they didn't. They came from Cuba,
No, a
Argentina. They
lot of
came from El
people came from
Salvador, Puerto
China.
Rico, China, India,
Yeah,
Africa, fucking, Iraq,
and
Iran,
and
y-
it's not only the southern border that they were coming through. We know
Afghanistan.
this.
Yes, we know this.
That's why Trump paused the tariffs on Canada, because they have tried to put people at the border to do
Help
searches.
help deter the illegal invasion. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm glad you could join us and be here with us tonight. We'll try to get back as soon as possible. There's been just a lot of things going on, and I haven't been really feeling the podcast. But now I got a little bit of reason to have a little bit of more mojo. So while we work through this month, it's going to be a slow one. I got to work 6 days this week. I got to work 6 days next week. Not really going to be doing too much, but we'll try to get back to you as soon as we possibly can. But thank you for joining us. Hope you guys enjoyed this show. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit us up in the email that you see at the bottom of the screen. And if you want to help the family out, boom, help the family out. There's a QR code. Hit us up. Let us know. Every dollar counts. Even if it's just $1, it counts. And you mean something. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us again. I'm Gen X Dave. That's Moking the Bull 420. This is
Go
Gen
the
X
other
and
way.
beyond. Love you guys. See ya. Have a good one.
Like, comment.
Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button.